What's up, KMA land? KMA Sports Director Derek Martin. Another Wednesday word coming right at you. I'm on vacation, but I'm always thinking about you. I got a great one for you this week. It was a game a couple of weeks ago. East Mills and Essex were playing baseball. Remember this. When I'm saying this, they played baseball. The final score, 27-26. In the game, 108 plate appearances, 8 different pitchers, 26 hits, 33 walks, 14 Ks, 4 hit batters, 10 errors, 100 stolen bases. East Mills at one point was down 12-0. Another time they were down by 8 runs. They were down by 4 going into the 7th. What did they do? They scored 5 runs. They won the game 27-26. 4 hours and 8 minutes of baseball action. We're not talking about 8-man football. We're talking about 9-man baseball. East Mills, again I will say it, 27-26. It was crazy. It was mad. People needed drinks of water in between every pitch. And East Mills again wins it 27-26. I went and I talked to their coach. I talked to some of their players from that game. And the word today is madness. Coach Cole Buchholz, and head coach of East Mills, 27-26. Coach, first of all, I want to kind of hit on the 12-0. It was 12-0 after 2 innings. I guess what's the message to the kids in a situation like that?
Well, it's the team motto, believe. We say that every time in and out of innings, and that night we just believed, and I think we got 11, I think, in the 3rd inning, came back, and then we didn't know what we were in for, but 27-26 was going to be a long night.
After you scored 11 in that inning, you said you didn't really know what you were in for, but was there kind of a feeling, man, this is going to be a different kind of night?
It was, with the way both pitchers, by that time we'd already went through 4 pitchers, and we couldn't find the strike zone. They couldn't find the strike zone. Defense wasn't making plays. We knew it was going to be a long night when it was 17-15, and it was already about midnight.
Yeah, already about midnight. And then you were down by 8 runs a little later on in the game. You get down by 12, you take a lead, and then you get down by 8. I guess, how are you able to withstand a 12-run deficit, get ahead, then another 8-run deficit? You mentioned the motto is believe, but I think most teams have a motto like that, and they would have just said, hey, let's just head on home.
No, you're exactly right, especially with the way things have been going lately. I think they found out we came back from down 12-0, so what was 8 more runs? At that point, we were just like, hey, let's have fun, and let's just first one to 30 wins. Yeah,
nobody got to 30, though, unfortunately. Yeah. 26-22 going into the last inning, I guess, and really the only out that was made, I think, was a sacrifice fly. So did you have the pitcher timed well, or what was that 7th inning like for you?
It was, well, most times trailing that deep into the 7th, I usually tell the guys to take a pitch. Yeah. Just because we need base runners. You could hit a solo shot and it's not going to get you back into it. And we just said we need base runners, and once we loaded them up and kept scoring, then I knew we had a chance.
Austin came through with the game-winning hit. What was that like for him to come through in a situation like that? You kind of was there a point where you're like, okay, we're going to win this thing, and then Austin came to the plate and got it done? Yeah,
Austin, he's been hitting well all year. Actually, before that, with nobody out, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to win this game. And then they catch Kyle's ball, and then Austin has 2 strikes on him, and I'm like, oh boy, just put it in play. Game's going to be over, and he hits a shot out to left field, and it was ecstatic. I mean, the place was going crazy for 12:08 at night.
Wow, that's 12:08 a.m., huh?
12:08 a.m.
Unbelievable. I guess you got huge numbers offensively. Walks, I think you said, broke the state record, combined walks at 35 or so.
Yep.
So a lot of those, but I guess on the negative side of that, you gave up 26 runs. So what's kind of the message afterwards? I mean, you're really happy about the win, but what do you say about the pitching?
We've been talking about all year that we have to throw strikes, because I was just telling those guys, we're averaging 9 runs a game, but we're giving up 14. And you're not going to win many games when you try to outscore teams. So that night I tried to keep it all positive because it was a big conference win and we had to get a win. So I kept it pretty much all positive, but the pitching staff knows that we've got to throw strikes, because you start walking guys, defense back on their heels, then they start booting balls, and they just have to throw strikes.
You ever seen a game or been a part of a game or anything like that? Was that just kind of one of a kind?
It really was. I try to sit there and think. I've never even been a part of a game where I think we scored over 20 runs. Mm-hmm. And I think 26-0 would have been different, but to have both teams right at that's what it was even crazier.
Cole Buchholz, that's the head coach. Let's hear it from the players here in a bit. All right, talking with some of the heroes from the big 27-26 victory. Kyle Ryun right here. This is Austin Sommerla, David Howell, Jacob Schafer. We're going to start with Kyle, number 2 hitter, just a sophomore in that game. Kyle, 2 for 7, couple runs scored, but 6 RBI. That was the big number of the night. You drove in 6. I guess tell us about your at-bats in that game.
They just had people ahead of me on like second and third, and I just tried to hit to the right side and try to drive them in most of the time.
And I was talking to Coach there, and obviously talking about the 12-0 deficit and 8-run deficit. I guess he said the motto is believe. What was going on in your head though?
I just have to make contact with the ball and just try to bring them in.
I mean, being down by that though, did you really think you guys would come back and win that game?
No.
That's exactly the honesty that I'm looking for. But truly, when you did come back, you took the lead back, got back down by 8. Was there maybe a little more confidence in that you could make the comeback?
Yeah, I thought we could do it that time.
And when it did happen, it's after midnight. We're into the next day. I guess what was the feeling?
Well, I was pretty mad because I didn't get the walk off, but we still won the game.
Yeah, you had a sacrifice fly in that inning. They must have made a good play in the outfield or something. But it'll work. You handed it off to Austin Sommerla to give him an opportunity. 3 for 6, 2 runs, 2 RBI, and obviously the big one, the last one. Tell us about your last at bat.
I got down 0-2, and then I worked it back to 1-2, and then I was just trying to make contact, get it to the outfield. They had the outfield in. It was at the edge of the grass, so they were playing a deep infield really, and I was just trying to get a normal routine fly ball out there, and I kind of got a line drive, and it worked out.
Kind of along the same lines as I was talking about Kyle, but you're down by 12, you come back. You're down by 8, you come back, and then you go into the last inning, you're only down by 4. That's pretty easy then to come back on that.
Yeah, it felt like it was so much easier in the last inning because everybody got on base, everybody did their part, and it's just everything worked out just the way it was supposed to.
Take us through the emotions of that game where, you guys have a huge inning. You're down 12-0 first of all. They scored 9, I think, in the first inning or so. And then you guys are down 12-0. You score 11. They come back with a big 10-run inning. That's crazy emotions. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's just like on a roller coaster. You're going up and down. And Coach always preaches about how baseball is an up and down game. And in that game alone, we found our ups and downs so many different times that it's just everything worked out, and I'm glad it happened the way it did.
How did you sleep that night? Were you able to get to sleep pretty early, or?
Yeah, I was exhausted, really.
So you got home, went right to bed. You weren't up reliving everything for the next 4 or 5 hours until practice started.
Yeah, when I woke up and came to practice, it's kind of when it all hit me, and how long it was, and how big of a game it was, and how many walks and runs, and how much of a record it was.
Pretty unbelievable. David Howell, the cleanup hitter, junior first baseman, 3 hits, 4 at-bats, 4 runs scored. You run for yourself, huh? And 3 RBIs. Talk a little bit about the game for you, your at-bats, and you coming up there, everybody, lots of people on base for you every time you're up.
I don't know. My main goal was just not to strike out.
And you didn't, right? Or did you?
No.
No. 3 for 4, so you did a good job in that situation. Can you equate this to any wrestling match you've ever been in?
No, not really.
Did you ever get behind by a lot and then have to come back?
No.
He usually leads the whole way through. Down by 12, though, just kind of the same thing that I was talking with Kyle and Austin about. Down by 12, down by 8 a couple of times. I know what the motto is and all this, but I guess what's going through your head in that situation?
After those first 2 innings, I thought we were going to go home the 3rd inning, but once we scored those 11 points, we were all pretty excited, and then it just kind of seemed like each inning we'd take turns. We'd be down the next inning, then the next inning we'd be up, and it was just crazy.
Setting a record for walks in a game, it's not always a fun thing to watch walks happen. I guess, did you fall asleep at any point?
Yeah, kind of. It gets pretty boring over there just watching walk on first base, but
there were plenty of hits, though. There was 108 total plate appearances between the two teams. So, the walks, there were also 36 hits in the game. Jake Schafer, you had the most for this team. 4 for 5, 3 runs scored, a double. The only double of the 20 hits, by the way, 19 singles, and then 2 RBI. You made a huge play defensively, though, in the top half of the 7th inning. They had a runner on third, maybe runners elsewhere, too. Hit one out to you in center field, and you made the catch and threw him out at home. I guess that was a pretty huge play. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a pretty shallow fly ball, so when I caught it, I was kind of surprised they ran because I figured I could throw them out. But I made the catch and made a good throw and got him out.
We're at the scene of the crime here. So about how far out there was it?
I don't know. 20 feet about, probably.
At least it was in the group, so you weren't just right behind second base. So it was a pretty good throw for you. How about your at-bats? 4 hits throughout the night, including the only double. Tell us about how things went for you.
Before that game, I think I only had about one hit all season, so I was really struggling. And I finally started hitting the ball, making contact, because I was striking out a lot before that.
That was a game for everybody to kind of break out of a slump, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For you, and kind of the same stuff that I was saying about being down those deficits. Tell us about what's going through your mind, and how are you planning on possibly even coming back from a deficit like that?
Well, I honestly thought, like David, I thought we were going to get 15 runs and go home. Then in that 3rd inning, we stringed some hits together, and we started to believe that we could come back. And then we took the lead finally in about the 5th inning, and I thought we were going to finish it off and win, until they got those 10 in the 6th inning, and we finally came back at the end.
Unbelievable range of emotions, I'm sure, and a roller coaster throughout the game. What does this do for you guys coming back the way you did? What do you think that maybe would do for you guys maybe down the stretch a little bit?
Hopefully it can pick us up throughout the rest of the season, because it's been pretty tough so far. I think we're about like 2-8 now, so hopefully we can get some more wins.
Well, guys, anything else you want to add about the stirring victory? Nothing? I think you guys added it, but congratulations, and what a game, what a story. Appreciate you guys all being here.